So I'm happy that you're here, Christel. And I'm happy that you say immediately yes, and that we can have this podcast recorded before the end of the year.
Yeah.
And why did you say so? Yes, immediately.
Well, it's because of the subject. For me as a GP, I've been wondering what happens when people get sick. Why do people get sick and how do we get better? And if you start peeling the layers, then the one thing that's really front and center is stress. So when you invited me and I saw what your subjects were, your topics, and the things that you wanted to have a conversation about, I was like, yeah, I'm in, because stress is just, that's it for this
It's
time.
under all these layers, then layers. Is that where you end up with stress?
The perceivance of stress. Yeah. I think a lot of people unconsciously put themselves through a lot of stress, and then the outer world also enhances a lot of stress. And I really do believe that it's a big factor of why people get sick and why they don't, if they're not sick, but they don't feel like life is vibing for them and it could be better, then it's mostly, the perception of stress or the feeling of stress that they don't know what to do with.
So we got to know each other because of LinkedIn, and you wrote a message not so long ago, which really was liked by many, many, many people. And one of the phrases which captured my attention was that we completely have lost contact with ourselves. How do we get it back? Or is that to to go immediately
No, let's
to
just
too
dive
deep
right in.
in? Just right in. Yeah, I like always to, and then we see how the flow of the conversation goes.
And I'm glad that was the stimulus, because that is the big question. How do we get it back? I think that a lot of people are trying to get it back in this time. And there's a lot of emphasis on getting to know your past and getting to know your stories and getting to know all of that. To be honest, I don't think that that's going to be the solution for a lot of people, because if you look at the stories that people tell about their past, we know from scientific research that 50% that people tell is not even true. It's just it's just not true. It's just objectively not true. So we're like digging in a lot of things that's mostly not even true, but it does increase the stories that we tell ourselves. And that's the big thing. What story are you telling yourself? What's the inner dialogue that you're telling yourself? Are you telling yourself that you're too stressed, or that you're not good enough, or that you don't have enough time, or that you don't have enough capacity? What's the story inside yourself that you're telling yourself that is fueling the feelings that you have, the choices that you make, the things that you do? And can you come back into contact with the body, with your vessel, your vehicle, to actually experience what's going on in there, and what feelings are being felt in certain times of your day and certain experiences? Or are you just in your head trying to figure it out and ignoring all of the rest of your existence? The rest of you, that's the body, that's the soul, that's the being, which is so much more than just that story that you keep on telling.
It is interesting what you say. I didn't know it was 50% of the things are not even true, but it doesn't really matter, no? Because if you believe it's true, then you live according to that, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
And that's what I see a lot of people doing. I've had the same practice as a GP now for 13 and a half years. I'm having the same conversations as 13 years ago. They keep on telling themselves the same thing.
With the same person.
The same people. It's the same people with the same stories. And if you get into an emotion, it's like, yes, but my mother. And then I keep on hearing those same stories about their mother like 40, 50, 60 years ago. And they just can't seem to get past that story and what they believe about themselves in that story.
I don't know if you have seen the subtitle of the podcast. I'm collecting, with the aim of the podcast is collecting tools to build a resilience in our life. And I started with some questions about what are my tools. And I'm curious and also interested to learn about yours, because I have my method, which connect nicely with what you say, feel the vehicle also. So for me, that is cold and breathing and going out in nature. Those are the things. But if you need to choose between the sunrise or the sunset, which one do you choose?
Sunrise. I'm a morning girl.
Morning glory.
Yeah, yeah.
And between the cold and the warmth.
Cold.
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 And why?
I love the quietness that I associate with cold. There's like if everything gets cold in nature, then there's mostly also this airy quietness. And that's what immediately comes into me. You know, if I think about warm, then it's going out and doing things. But I love the subtleness of cold.
The mountains or the sea?
The sea.
For
The air. Both the mountains and the sea have like this very aliveness in their air, in what you can breathe in and what you can feel in and around you. But the sea, I don't know. I just love the water and the waves and everything moving. Yeah.
And if you need to think about breathing or meditation, if there is a distinction for you, maybe for some people not, so which one would you choose?
It's like choosing between my two children. They're one and the same. For you, can you choose between those?
I think yes. I can choose. Breathing is something with I carry with me during 24 hours in the day. You know, it's functional breathing, slower breathing, awareness, and presence. But also while I'm talking with you, while I'm doing sports, meditation is more that I close myself and sit with myself. It's a different kind of activity.
Yeah.
For me.
I can recognize that. And for me, but meditation is also with my eyes open. So during the day, there's moments. So I think that's why I can't choose, because I can do that during the day as well. Yeah.
Yeah, breathing is a sort of, for me, an entrance is a door opener to meditation. If you're able to bring that more into your life, it's also easier to meditate. And once you recognize the benefits of it, you want to do more of that. But first, you need to go up from your high-speed train and then just stop. So then breathing is a smooth way to getting from one state into the other. That's also how I see it, as a sort of vehicle of transitioning.
Agreed. You get into alpha easy
Yes.
with the breath. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And we can talk about your stress, which is evidently, I don't know if you're stressed. Let's talk about your tools for resilience. Since you also are a GP and helping a lot of people, and you see a lot of people with stress and the need, maybe they don't even come for stress to you. They come with problems, or maybe you can tell a little bit more about that. No,
They come with problems. And these days it's changed, the things that they come with. 10 years ago they came with problems just wanting to know from me, is there something wrong with my organ? You know, do I have a heart problem? Do I have a lung problem? Do I have whatever? And these days they also want to know, okay, so if I do or do not have an organ problem, what's the cause? What's the root cause? What's underlying? Why did this happen? What can I do about it? It's become much more broad. So stress is a topic that my whole day is surrounded around, because mostly those conversations flow towards, okay, where's your energy stuck? Why is it not, flowing through? Why is your body communicating like this? Why is it trying to call you back into connection? So yeah.
do people understand the language, energy, connection? They come with a real issue, no? I'm just thinking of it. Maybe for you it's total normal language because you also write heart-led, like working like a heart-led practitioner. So probably you're already thinking differently about those terms in your practice as well.
I don't go at it like as straight as I'm doing right now with you.
So I was wondering, if people recognize it, if you come with words of connection and energy or this kind of terminology.
No, they first want me to, and I also want to do that myself. They first want me to do the the normal thing, just checking their lab works, checking whatever, doing the physical examination, really seeing what the body is showing. And I also have a lot of people in my practice who just want the medication or just want, the quick solution. And I don't have this talk with them at all. But during the years, because people know that I'm thinking a certain way, a lot of people find me for a different conversation. And that's mostly the second or third conversation about a certain topic. So first they come, we explore, I do whatever a GP does. And then if they come back and they want to know, okay, so what can I do about this? And where can I find more of a direction for a solution? Then we start exploring together. Okay, where are we going? And for some people that goes really, really, really deep, and we get into this 2-3 year process. And for others, it's like 1 or 2 pointers, or just going to a psychologist, and then we're done.
You cannot see that, you don't know where you head through, at least in the beginning. It's just like it developing itself. Yes.
Yeah.
And are you stressed?
Yeah, I think I deal with stress as well. It has changed over the years. I don't get overwhelmed anymore like I used to do. But certain amounts of stress are, I think, quite inherent about, just living in this world. that complete stress-free life, if you have like the ambition to actually participate in things like healthcare, which is quite a stressful environment. There's a lot of things that what I now perceive as stress. I've been with the same population for 13 years, for instance, and then when people that I've known quite intensively for 13 years get sick, have an appeal on me, and I need to figure out how to take good care of myself and take good care of them and their families and all of that, then sometimes I can get aroused from that, and then I need to calm myself down and feel what's right.
And how does stress in you show up?
I go to my head. I know the moment that I start worrying about things that are not mine, I'm stressed, and I first need to calm down.
What is your go to calm down? I spoke to Ragna, who's an ultra runner. She goes running 30 kilometers, but that is for others totally stressful. So what is coming down for you?
For me, that's working with Kundalini breath mostly. I work a lot with Kundalini meditation and breath. So really just getting the energy that gets stuck in my first 3 energy centers, getting that back up to my heart and getting it flowing again. Then solutions just come to me, and then I know how to deal with certain situations, and I don't have to think about it anymore. Because I know when my energy gets stuck here, then I'm mostly avoiding something down there that I just don't want to feel, or that feels difficult, or so then I just get into that.
You're bringing back the energy everywhere in your body up to your brain, so that it automatically then starts to flow the energy again.
Exactly.
Is that what you do with your the persons who come to you who are open? Is it the same what you do, or you send them to somebody for doing that?
In my GP practice, I don't do this. That goes a bit too far for what I can do in 20 minutes. But
that's already stressful. That's already stressful enough. No, 20 minutes. Yeah.
But I also have a different company next to it. So I'm like part-time GP, part-time. I give trainings and teachings and group facilitations, retreats, all of that in heart-led leadership, in Kundalini meditation, in really getting that body and spirit together.
You see a sort of people coming for the GP practice moving to the other side or the other way around, or is it totally 2 different worlds?
It's 2 different worlds, and I don't promote my one work in my other work, because that doesn't feel completely ethical. Now that I have a bit more presence on social media, they sometimes find me, and then we have a bit of a talk. Can we separate the 2 roles really clearly? Because as a GP, people are really dependent on working with me and keeping that very transparent, because I'm the gatekeeper to the rest of their healthcare. You can't go into a hospital in the Netherlands without passing through me.
I think that is also sort of accumulating stress for GPs, not being the gatekeeper, that you don't want to miss something. And I know in Holland, I've lived in Italy and in Spain, I see a similar. It's very easy that you progress into a specialist, into the hospital, and get all the examinations. While in Holland, there is first really like the GP stop block also, because it's not so easy to get further. But it creates, I guess, also a lot of stress on how you function in that role.
Yeah. The GPs and the healthcare practitioners are the main people that come to my trainings and my retreats. The difficult thing is that the most of my colleagues that I see are women who have a very, very, very clear mission. They really want to help people. They're really doing it from the right place, but they've been educated in a system that puts you as the savior. You're the savior as a GP. You need to save people and you need to know what the solution is. It's not about working together and both taking responsibility. It's still very hierarchy, vertical, just we working really, really hard with a lot of patients. And that's the big stressor, that you just know that there's really a lot of people who just come sit in the chair and say, I have chest pain. And then they're silent and they're just looking at me like, do something. That happens a lot, and that gives a lot of stress, because then you're constantly working like, okay, what do I need to know? What do I need to do to make sure that you're safe? And what's your responsibility and what's mine? And that's become very, very vague in the system.
And how do you, after a day like that, because everybody comes with problems, everybody is looking for support to get help, and there's always an issue there which you need to solve, either solving it yourself, either passing it through. So how do you disconnect from that after a busy day? Is there a sort of ritual? Do you have a routine? Do you otherwise you bring it at home, which I think is also not the optimal situation, because then you bring all the stories also in another space.
Yeah, for me that really starts at the beginning of the day. So at the beginning of the day, I really take an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours, to really get my meditation, my breath work, to get my system up and ready, so that I know if I can overcome me and I'm good with me, then the patients don't get to me as much. They, I'm good with whatever they do. I can be more relaxed with whatever's been thrown at me if I'm centered and in my own heart and in my own space of clarity. So it starts with the beginning of the day, being really disciplined in that. And then during the day, checking in with my own system. Where am I? What do I need? Okay, can I give more? Where am I? And then when I go home, I try to walk home as much as I can, and just first take a walk and just breathe it out and really just let it go, and then come home to my family.
Do you then also a closure of the day activity?
Yeah, end of the day, I have another long meditation with breath work, just really releasing the energy, because there's a lot of energetic interference with your system. There's a lot of movement. If I have a day at my GP office, then there's been a lot of interaction with my system. So then breath work, meditation, just getting back into connection with what I am, what's bigger than just the person that you see right now.
And if you say there's a lot of interaction in my system, what exactly is happening there then? Is it that it all goes to your head, arousal, distraction, or is it something else?
It goes to my head. It's arousal. It's distraction. It's also I really want to work from my heart, and then I get frustrated if I can't help somebody, and I get disappointed if people haven't done what I asked them to do, and they're just sitting on the couch waiting for a miracle to happen. It's all of that, and I really allow myself to feel that. But if you have 30 patients a day, then it can be a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. And it says every person with a new story. Therefore, I was interested to hear how you prepare for that, how you close it. And it's very good to hear that you say it's not closing, it's how I start the day. Because with your energy, your approach of, if you're good, you approach your patients also in a different way than when you're not good. So the outcomes of this conversation is then also different when you are so centered. But your patient doesn't come in like that.
No. No, they don't. But it's funny to see what happens, because I know when I'm having a good day, when I've done my work right, because then I hear a lot of, like, after 5 minutes, I don't know what you're doing, but I'm already feeling better. Because if I'm in a coherent state, then it affects the person who's sitting in my
Yes.
space because they get coherent as well. So I know if I didn't get over myself and I'm in my own woo-woo bullshit, then I don't hear that comment a lot. But if I'm centered, then I hear a lot of, I don't know what you're doing, but I'm feeling better a few times a day.
I heard this earlier this week a phrase also. It was about running your own business, and I said, "What is the number one skill you need to really have right?" And it's not about the how, but it is about your energy. If your energy is right, you attract more of what you need, or what helps you further. So and that is the main thing. And if I calculate your hour, you said 1.5 hour at the beginning or 2, and then at the end of the day. So okay, not everybody has this, but so it's 4 hours a day or 3 that you're dedicating to breathwork, meditation, kundalini every day.
Every day.
It's quite discipline. I must say. On those days when you think, I guess it's not that you think every day, yes, I'm going to do this, or is it? No, okay, no, just to have that clear. No.
No, and those days that I really don't want to do it are the days that matter the most. I had 5 days of practice during the week last week, and then Saturday and Sunday I was training groups both days, and I didn't close off on Sunday well. I already knew, there I go. So Monday morning I was awake and I was completely in the, I don't want to. And it just kept on, keeping me in this low energy all day until I catched myself and just midday sat down, did what I had to do, and it shifted. In 30 minutes, I was back to, okay, I'm good. But even after all these years, if I really skip the morning and I just go snooze, stay in bed, drink my tea. No, that's not the way to go for me.
So you wake up earlier to do this?
4:30.
4:30. Okay.
Yeah, I know this sounds crazy, but it started with discipline, and now it's just it feels like I haven't showered and brushed my teeth if I don't do it. I don't feel as good as I can.
I do also how you say meditation every morning, 30 minutes, and then I go out. That is my start of the day. And how long are you doing this? Because I think the duration is quite impressive, I must say. So I think also a lot of people would say, "Oh no, that's way too intense." So what is the sort of, why so long? No, is there maybe some guidance if people would like to try? Because I agree with you. Once you start to build it in your life, it really is so nice to start the day with a clarity and with presence and feeling where it needs more energy and where it don't. It's not the same as sleeping. It's really being present. So it's a difference, and I agree with you. Although I cannot fight that amount, because I also would like to go outside. No? So it's a little bit of a trade-off. My question was, okay, when did you start doing this, and is there a way to make it shorter? Would that also work? Or why this duration?
Yeah. I started about 13 years ago. 13 years ago, I was closing my specialization as a GP. I had a 1-year-old son. I was pregnant with our second son, and my husband got cancer. That was the start of my journey. It was a complete wake-up call. Life became crazy. So I had the ultimate stress period in my life, and I don't do burnouts. I do herniated discs. So quite soon after that, I had my first herniated disc in my back, and I just knew from the beginning, I have to do something with me. I have to figure this out with me. Because if I don't, a psychologist is not going to help me. The neurologist is not going to help me. Painkillers are not helping me. I don't know what will help, but I need to figure this out. So meditation came on my path about 13 years ago, and I just started where everybody starts, 5 minutes, and then thinking, oh my God, 5 minutes is so long. How am I not going to think for 5 minutes?
I'm there. I was there too. Yeah.
5 minutes was like horrible. And then from 5, I went to 10. I started with Vipassana. With just mindfulness. And from that, it evolved and it evolved and it evolved and it evolved. And now it's just, I wake up by myself. I don't have an alarm clock. And so 4:30 this morning, it was 4:10. Sometimes it's 4:45. I wake up somewhere between 4 and 5. And then I know I have just a choice. So it's not that I have to do this anymore for myself, but I have this flow of working with the Kundalini breath for about 20 minutes, then working with my body for about 15 minutes, and then just really going into the field of everything that's not matter, and that is the part that I am part of and that we're all part of, and just being there. And then I'm out of time and space. So I'm in this unified field of pure love, and being there, then time just goes so fast in where we are right now. If I'm there, then all of a sudden this alarm goes off. I'm like, oh, I need to. And then I know that I have 15 minutes of time to, get back into, get all that love back into my body and into my center, and go to wake my kids and start the day. So for now that I can use those techniques and go into that field, time just flies by. I have mornings, if it's Saturday or Sunday, that I can be in there for 3 hours, and just, it's so enjoyable, that I just have fun. It became fun.
I did Vipassana myself, the 10 days of training. I don't know if you did it as
Yeah.
well. So I exactly can resonate with you. It's not so easy for me to get that same feeling back. So, and I guess for a lot of people, they don't never get there, basically. So then this sort of first half an hour is torture.
Yeah. And I did the Vipassana 10 days several times. And Vipassana didn't do it for me, because just sitting and being quiet. But if you have like the breathing techniques and all of that to really get out of the program, to open your heart and to bring all that energy into movement, and then you get into the quiet of it, that's a complete game changer.
Yeah. So you started to do that because it was one of the questions. No, did something happen while you what deviated to this path? So that was your second pregnancy and cancer of your husband.
Well, my husband got cancer. I was 28 and he was 33, and it was just the scariest thing that could ever happen to us. And then I got sick from all that stress myself, and from that, I just had to go inwards and inwards and inwards, and now it's become fun to go inwards. So I don't think I'll ever stop.
And you use these techniques now also for the people in the trainings, then at least, and you use it to center yourself to help your patient.
Yep, exactly. Yeah.
Are you the only one in the family who's doing that? Or I don't know how old your children are then, sort of young, but is there are you also transmitting the same kind of practices to them?
My children are now 14 and a half and 12 and a half. So they're really in the teenage age where things have to be cool and
yeah, so this doesn't fit. No, I would.
When I was younger, when they were younger, and I was younger, they would join my morning practices. So when I was in the Vipassana stage, I would have like 3 meditation cushions, and they would just join me whenever they were ready and awake. So they do have a foundation, and when they get stressed, they do ask me to help them out. But right now, the morning practice is like, no, I'm going to stay in my bed. It's not cool. And Mom, you're too woo-woo. So yeah, not right now. But my husband and I are on the same page. He's very conscious of his energy and what he's emitting to the boys, and we're on the same page in how we want to raise them. We really want to raise them in a place where emotions can flow and can be held.
And your husband, overcame the cancer?
Yeah, he had a sarcoma, so it wasn't looking good from the beginning. But he's here and he's doing well. He can't work anymore, but he's doing well enough to have a good life.
Good to hear. Is there a relation between stress, cancer, the work that you do with the meditation and the breathing? How do you see that?
I'm in an international cohort of doctors and scientists that do science. We do studies to see what awareness work or meditation or Kundalini meditations, all of that, do with the body. And we do see now that there are anti-cancer factors that go up in people if they really get into, the unified field enough, if they can really get into that energy of it. So there's like little scientific pointers that there's really something going on in relationship to sickness and where your energy is stuck and where your energy's at and your stress levels and what you're living on a daily basis in your body. I think that in this time and age, there's a lot of people who are very clear on how they think it works. I'm not gonna go there because I think we don't know, we don't even know 2 or 3% of it. That there's a relationship between sickness and stress, that's easy. That's a no-brainer. That's quite obvious. But I have people of 28 with bowel cancer, and I cannot put a logical reasoning behind that. So I know that there's people out there in the consciousness field and in the energy work and everything who are then saying, well, I've read this book, and if you have a liver problem, then you have stuck anger issues, and if you have a lung problem, it's about grief and all of that. I don't believe it because I don't see that. I don't see that one-on-one distinction. All I can say that for me, what is truth is that we get sick if the soul is calling and wants your attention. My husband getting cancer at 33, when I was 28, when we were having 2 children, it's been such a big calling for us both to get out of the patterns that we were brought up in. I was brought up in a military family, so with very headstrong, intelligent people. I really lived up there, and that this was just something to get by with.
But the discipline can also come from there. Huh?
Definitely.
You're waking up at 4. It sounds also like military regime. No?
Maybe that's it. Maybe that's it.
Yeah, the discipline is there. Yeah?
Yeah, but the heart and the knowing what to do with emotions and really knowing who I am and what I can bring to the table in this world and what I could share with other people, which is more than just I went to university and I know something about medication. Going there all sprouted from his illness. It started there. And for him to get out of his programs, it all started there with really becoming authentic and going inwards. And I see that a lot with the people that get ill. And of course, sometimes they do die. It doesn't end well. And I don't think that you've done something wrong then, or that you missed the calling or whatever. I think death comes when death comes. I don't find a logic in that, or a responsibility, or something that you can do right or wrong. I think it's just the soul trying to find your attention to guide you to a different direction.
And how do we recognize that? For you, it was then the sickness of your husband, but the people who come to you, or how do they recognize that the soul is calling? Also, that is quite how you say, not easy to understand for a lot of people. No?
Yeah.
So is it needed? Does it need to be something big? Because a lot of people, is the people I meet, body is flagging since a long time that things are off, and my body did it also. I ignored it completely because I thought I'm stronger than my body. My head is stronger than the rest, until the body says whatever kind of form. And I got the advice, maybe you need to take life a little bit slower, but I didn't know what it was. So it's very difficult then to understand what does it mean. How do you make clear to people that something needs to change? Because it can be big, small, little things, no? Which already try to raise the attention.
Yeah, and mostly it is small things, So mostly it is, what are you not feeling? How's your connection with your body? How's your connection with your heart? How's the internal dialogue? How is that moving along? And that can be what the soul's calling you back into. Like, okay, you're just moving in this rat race that the world will invite you into going into. Can you go back into a bit slower pace? Can you start listening? Can you start feeling? And can you, if your life has been presented to you as a gift to you, then everything in that life could be an invitation to you, right? So if our body is calling us back and really pushing us to slow down, then that's probably there for you as well. So what's the gift in that? Can you look at, we always see what we don't want. When I had the herniated disc, I didn't want the pain. I didn't want to be immobilized. I wanted, I didn't want to be on a chair, on a bed. I just wanted to do my things. And when I could shift perspective, like, okay, but if everything is there for me, if life is there for me, then what could it try to communicate to me? Okay, where am I not listening? Where am I not feeling? Okay, I'm just moving in the rat race, doing what I have to do. But what do I want to do? I have no clue what I want to do because I don't know who I am anymore. So I could make that shift. And not every patient can make that shift because a lot of patients are just very medicalized, like I have a herniated disc, I have pain, give me a painkiller, and then you just wait until it subsides and then they just go on. And that's okay, that's fine. I mean, everybody has a free choice to do it their way. But what I said, in the last 10 years, you see a lot of people just asking me this question. So I don't impose my view on the world to my patients. If they just have high blood pressure and they want a bit of metoprolol or something else, they just want the medication and go on with the life they're living, that's fine by me. Do what's right for you. But if they come to me and they say, okay, I have high blood pressure and I don't understand what my body's trying to communicate, can we investigate this? All right, let's have a look.
Cool. Nice. So take seriously all the little signs that's coming in your way because they're communicating something. And it's very hard for people, including myself, no, I was there, to think they need to slow down because I was afraid to lose something. Maybe my energy, it was pure adrenaline, but I thought it was energy, or my drive, or my, I was afraid of that because maybe then I could not perform so good anymore. I only perform better now, but I didn't know that by the time. How do you make this transition? How do you make the change?
For a lot of us, it takes a crisis. I mean, you were in the IC. I was taking like 300 milligrams of morphine, laying on a bed, not being able to move. For most of it, it takes a bit of a crisis before we give in, before we're willing to surrender to it. Because, of course, we've been trained to, our body only believes what it knows that it works. It wants to keep us alive, not happy. That's not what we're built for being happy. Our brain is being wired for keeping us alive. And doing what you did yesterday kept you alive yesterday, so it will keep you alive today, probably. And it will keep you alive tomorrow. So everything in your brain really pushes you towards thinking that that's the way that you're going to be safe, because it's not wired to make you happy. So when it's just about being happy or a bit unhappy, then safety will go first in your system. But when we get into crisis, that's the moment that we start believing that doing something differently could actually mean that we would be more safe in the future. So for me, lying there on that bed, having to be operated on my back, and really, really giving into, I need to change because this will not end well if I keep on doing this. That's the moment that I could surrender into it. So that's why it's quite easy for me to not push on people to change or to listen to the body. And if they just want the medication, I'm really fine with that, because I know from my own experience as well how convinced you can be that changing your matter, changing the way you do things, can really feel unsafe. Can really feel unsafe. And if you do it from a point of battle, nothing will change in the end. It's all about, are you willing to surrender something? Are you willing to give in to, okay, I need to stop being this person?
Now I need to think sort of the parallel with the ice baths I'm doing. This is purely stress, because it's a stressful situation, and it becomes something almost pleasant when you dare to surrender, where you dare to not like, I can do it, because I say to every manager, you can easily step in this ice bath. That's because your mind is so strong. That's not a problem. But that's not what I want you to feel or to learn. No, it's about, can you let go, and can you then see what happens? And that gives you, most of the times, just this letting go that gives so much opening up then for whatever is there to come. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You said yourself, you manage the relation with stress in a better way nowadays. Can it also be experience, life experience, or is it also because of the techniques and your meditation which you use? It's a combination of both, I assume. But
It's a combination of both. For a long time, I thought I had to leave being a GP before I could really get out of the stress. A lot of GPs quit their practice because they find it too stressful. And at one point, I thought, no, but this is there for me as well. This is also part of the gifts that life is trying to give me. Being in such a stressful environment has really made me very trained in picking up the signals so early that I can start feeling more and more and more in an early phase. Oh, wait a minute. I need to breathe a bit deeper. All right. Where are my feet? Okay. This thought is coming. Oh, wait a minute. That. So in doing that for years and years and years and years, then it becomes part of who you are. So if I'm in the Efteling or in the swimming pool, happen as well that I'm like, okay, where are my feet? Okay, oh, this sensation is arising. Okay, wait a minute, breathe. It becomes who you are.
I do that now in the supermarket just before Christmas. Not the place to be. It's really breathing in deeply before going in.
We're going to the Efteling next week, and I already know that if I wake up that day, my first thought will probably be, if I don't pay attention, oh God. And I'm not going to go there. I'm just not going to go there. I'm just going to calm my body down and tell myself it's going to be a fun day if I just breathe and relax.
I wanted to ask you, what are still the most stressful moments in your life? So that's going to the Efteling just before Christmas. Yes.
That and my sons, when they were done with the swimming lessons, they went into water polo. We still going to the swimming pool every week, and those echoing sounds and all those people and all the yelling, that can be a lot for my nervous system. And also, of course, I'm joking around now, but when I have like acute patients at the practice, if somebody comes in with a heart arrest or something, then I get into a lot of stress, and then I need a moment because I do feel it better than I used to. Back in the day, I could like have somebody with chest pain, and then 10 minutes later, I would just go on to the next patient and not even noticing that my body needed a moment to recover. Now I notice it, so I can't ignore that.
So the body-mind connection has become stronger.
Yes.
And do you have practical things which you do during the day then to reactivate it, or to clear out energies, or to get centered again?
I think I do a lot of things that a lot of people will recognize. I always have certain music and tones in my practice that will help me focus on my heart. If I'm in a conversation with somebody, there's always this really, really tiny sound that my body now picks up on that helps me relax. I walk on bare feet shoes. So really try to get back into my feet all day long. Breathing techniques, just simple 4-7-8, or hold it until I think I'm going to die. And then I know that the nitric oxide will come if I let go after that. So that will give me some more clarity. Things like EFT, dancing. I just feel whatever I need. Sometimes I need a bit of a picker up. Sometimes I need to calm down. So yeah, I just feel what I need.
Because a lot of people, if they go to, let's go back to the Efteling, no, because that's or whatever kind of Disneyland. Or for people who have not a clue what is Efteling, but they don't realize that they come home completely drained and stressed.
We're really good at tricking ourselves that if there's harmony with the people around us and there's laughter with the people around us, that we're having fun and that we're okay. But if you really pay attention to your body, that's not always true. There can be moments that you're in harmony and in laughter and in fun and with joy with the people around you, and that your body's okay. But in places like Disneyland and everything, that does ask a bit of attention to, because it's just really high sympathetic nervous system input all day long. If you don't feel your body, then you're going to come home tired and stressed out.
Yeah, you talk about stress, you talk about energy. Are these two words, are they sort of, you can change them? Is replaceable, the one for each other?
Kind of, I think so. So stress, sympathetic arousal means our energy field will collapse. It will go in, it will go inwards. The energy will go up to your brain. You're not back in the centers where actual fun can be felt. Your second center, you can feel your yes in your nose. It's all in your stomach. So for me, the sympathetic system is more than just vagus and breath, and that it's really just your energy field collapsing and all the energy moving up into the head and just figuring out how to make the best of the moment instead of living in the moment.
And I'm also into, because you changed quite a lot, also your approach. No, is there something you did in the past to get rid of stress or around stress, which you then now understood that was totally not functional, not working? And is there now? I know your new techniques, no, but is there something which you did and now you thought, no, really, I didn't understand why I was using that?
To be honest, Vipassana.
Okay, for me, yeah.
I know that there's a lot of people who love Vipassana and do it a lot, but I was really into Vipassana. And before I understood what happens when you're in that quiet kind of meditation in your body, I understand that it's good for your spiritual connection and for, getting out of the programs and everything. But if you look at what it does into the body, it does not replenish your DHEA system a lot. So if you we're talking about stress, we're talking about cortisol, and the antidote for cortisol is DHEA. And the DHEA, you want a lot of DHEA running around in your body. Vipassana doesn't give you a lot of that. It can help you lower cortisol because you're calming the programs down, but it doesn't revitalize the DHEA amounts in your body. So I was just doing Vipassana because I thought that was the way to go. But now if I look at that, I'm like, no, for me, that's not the way I'm here to live. A human, between other humans and just trying things, failing at things, feeling things, good or bad, I don't care. Just, being a human. And I need my body to interact with me to actually do that. So if you look at the bodily effects of Vipassana, that's if I see how much time I was there, and now I'm like, oh. I didn't know what I was doing.
Present.
Yeah.
Present. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you go more to the body awareness than now.
Yeah.
Or the heart awareness. Better
It's
to
really
say.
hard led for me because if I'm in my heart and I'm in pure love, then I can connect with the field that we're made of, which is pure love. There's been this beautiful quantum physicist in Cambridge that really explained what nothing is, and that nothing is everything. There's nothing is the field, and the field is made of pure love, and pure love is what we're all built of. So when I'm heart led, when I'm really in the heart, I can connect to that field in my body. So I don't have to go somewhere over there. I can be in my body and be present with nothing and everything at the same time.
Yeah, what I hear in everything what you say is really the, how would you say, the mind-body connection, that you can be, because you're more connected to your body or your heart, of course, evidently, but the body makes it more grounded, makes it more present, makes it solid, that you don't not only living here, but at least also use the vehicle that you have been given in the best and the most optimal way that you have it, no? Yes.
Mm.
Is there something which you would have known earlier, or the advice that you would have given yourself 20 years ago, the younger one, about stress and all the things? Is there something which you
I
wanted
wish
to say?
I knew earlier to not take my thoughts so seriously. I've spent so much time trying to analyze what I think, why I think it, where it comes from.
That's how we started, no? That 50% of the people think that they, no? That's so.
And I spent so much time in that as well. Like, oh, this is off. Why is this here? What am I doing wrong? What do I need to fix? What do I need to change about myself? or about my environment. Where do I need to move to? Where do I need to live? What kind of work do I need to do? It was all up in there, in my head, thinking and thinking and thinking about the problem and what could be the solution. And if I had known earlier that the answer was not there, and I needed to look elsewhere, that would have saved me a lot of time.
You were looking inside your body, but you were looking inside your brain for the answers. And that's definitely then not the right part of your body to look for those answers.
No. So if we can take the thoughts a bit less seriously and acknowledge that there's more to us than just the thinking part, I think we can move forward a lot easier as a species.
Nice. Is it also your plans for 2026 to move forward in that direction?
Yeah, I've, my mission is to keep my GP practice. And I still love being a GP. But my other practice, 2026 is lined up to do some podcasts, some master classes, some things. I just signed a contract with a national platform for that, giving my heart-led groups, giving retreats, and moving forward with all of that, because it's really just, it makes my soul sing. It makes me really, really happy to help people that way.
It's visible and feelable. You transmit the energy well.
Yeah, thank you.
I think the nice thing for me is there is so much to discover within your own body, and then you will figure out yourself what works better or what not. And by that, you get to know yourself every day better. And with those tools, you are also managing better the stress and the negativity, and brings you quicker and also healthier back to what is good for you.
And I like what you're saying, like you've done a lot and you're still curious. I see a lot of people who, I know now things are so hip and happening with the whole self-exploration field, that a lot of people are like, yeah, but I've done that. It didn't work for me. I'm like, no, if it didn't work for you yet, keep going, find things. There's always more to explore and more to open up, because there's just so much about us that we don't know. And I hope that I can keep exploring until I'm like 105. That would be fun. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you said for Vipassana for you. For me, the Vipassana, I would have never thought of that I was able to sit in silence for 10 days or 9 days, because the last day you're able to speak and then you can move again. I'm a runner, like activity. Sitting closed in a space with 80 other persons and not speaking and sleeping with people you don't know sounds really like a scary, out of my comfort zone situation. I wanted to understand how I would get through that as a learning experience, and it brought me to acceptance to that there is so much to discover in your own space and body, but you need to allow yourself to sit still.
Yeah.
And to dedicate the time. And in the rushing and in the moving forward, and also in the conversations you have with others, you will not find that. So like you dedicate your time in the mornings or in the evenings or in between breaks, you need to really proactively look for those moments and create them, so that you are sort of giving you the discovery of your own self, which is a journey which I like a lot. And therefore, if you want to hop on, like, okay, now next trend, new trend, yeah, you never go in deep, and therefore you will also not get to this positivity or change or richness which it can bring you. At least that's my opinion. Yeah,
Totally agree. I totally agree. It's not about that one retreat or that one ice bath or that one, it's not about that. It's about just every day. Can you be with yourself a little bit more every day? Yeah.
Yeah, consistency is always very much important. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the boring part, and that's where people don't go, because they like more the energy and the explosions. But that's not where you get rid of your stress.
No, it just comes back when you go back to your life and do what you always did. Yeah.
Boom, boom, harder. You fall harder. Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah, that
That
was
could
my
also.
experience. Yeah, that
Yeah.
when I had these big magical, because I've done a lot, and those big magical retreats, and then I got home and I was even more disappointed with my life. Until I saw that
Why?
I created that life. Oh, because I had these big blissful moments and I
Ah,
just loved life. And then I would come back home and I would wake up and think the same negative thoughts that I would think if I had to do certain activities. And I was like, no, I want to go back to that mountain where I had that. But that's
yeah,
not what it's about. It's about picking up something up in that experience and then really looking at yourself in the day. Okay, but what am I creating with my own thoughts and with my own feelings and with my own behavior? And how do I shift that?
exactly. Exactly. I'm totally with you.
Yeah.
Super. Thank you for the nice talk, Crystal. I enjoyed a lot. I learned also a lot, and I feel good energy here in the room, in our studio, even though we're quite some miles apart. So thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Thank you very much for the invitation. I loved it. Yeah.